And then, Keaton, come brush your teeth, buddy.
Yeah. Why do I have to brush my teeth?
You ready for your teeth? I'll do the bottom first, okay?
Keaton.
You know that won't hurt.
Keaton, I use some mint stuff too.
My name is Julie Smith.
My name's Trent Smith.
We have 4 children.
Right now I want some cantaloupe.
What's your favorite fruit, Riley?
Cantaloupe?
Do you have a favorite fruit?
Yeah.
What is it?
Strawberries.
I thought he would say grapes.
I thought he would say my favorite.
We have Riley, and she is 11.
What?
I think for the first day, go ahead and
We have Chandler, and she is 17. And Keaton is 9. And Braden, and he passed away when he was 10.
The Niemann-Pick Type C disease is it's very much part of our lives and very much part of what we do every day. All right, ready for your medicine?
I'm almost at your shoulder. By the way.
Got it? Swallow it.
Riley and Keaton take a variety of medicine, and it is just hopefully slowing the process down. You know, there is no cure right now for Niemann-Pick C, but this is hopefully just slowing things down and giving them a better quality of life longer. She might have to go shopping.
Go shopping or something like that.
No, I don't like that. Then
You're probably the only little girl that doesn't like shopping, right?
Riley's a rule follower. Riley, it keeps us on task. She likes a routine. You know, we got to get ready by a certain time. We've got to be, you know, if we're getting behind or we're going to be late, that bothers her.
Can you and Dad send them lunch money?
Yes. Did you get some good notes at school, Keaton?
Yeah. Of my class.
Keaton likes to do things when he wants to do them. He takes a little longer to get ready in the morning because he'll put a shirt on and he'll do a little dance.
No.
4, 3.
2, 1. I can do it.
It's an awful disease. It isn't something that just is like, it affects you at times, it affects you like off and on. It's every day. It's every step Keaton and Riley take. It's every time they fall. It's every time they have to ask for help to do anything. It's always there, but at the same time, we're trying really hard to get a cure.
No. Do Keaton and Riley know they're sick? I don't think so. They know they're different at times and they do ask questions, but overall, no, I don't think so. I mean, Riley comments about her balance, but it's usually, oh well, I have bad balance. We try and make Riley and Keaton's life as normal as possible. They are goers, we are doers. We don't hold back at all with their activities.
What happens in NPC, it's a genetic disorder, so there's a defect in the genes that encode a protein called NPC1. And when that protein gets a mutation, it doesn't work correctly. In the cells, when the NPC1 protein doesn't work, the movement of lipids and cholesterol through the cells is impaired, and the lipids begin to accumulate. When the lipids accumulate to such a degree, they start causing other problems in the cells, and eventually the cells die. The real problem with NPC is related to the neurodegeneration, and when the nerve cells begin to die, the children will develop problems with coordinating movement. They're often classically described as very clumsy children. And they'll also often have problems in cognition or thinking.
It is a very insidious disease. When children are first starting to experience symptoms, it might be as simple as they just can't quite keep up with the other kids on the playground. They stumble, their speech is a little slow. But as it progresses, the children lose their ability to speak, to run, to walk. and death usually before adulthood.
Their school is amazing. We don't put an emphasis on the educational goal. They are learning because they're in the classroom and they want to do what their peers are doing, but our number one goal for them every day is to be social, to have friends, to smile, to laugh, to have a good time. Keaton has a very special friend. He met her in kindergarten. They just happened to be in the same class together. He's very protective of her and she's very protective of him.
Bake me a cake as fast as you can. I don't know what that is. Something in the oven.
Riley and Keaton are so different in school and how they behave in a classroom.
Collages. Riley?
A collage is pictures, but
Riley's such a rule follower and she's so attentive, and I think she just hangs on every word that Mrs. Shondell says. If Mrs. Shondell's asking questions, you know, she's not afraid to raise her hand and participate.
Riley, do you have when a bill becomes a...
Each of the kids have a helper with them throughout the day. So besides the other kids helping them out, they also have some individual help from another adult.
Riley actually first met her, remember? At that first lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were able to still play with her, and she was running around.
And she really didn't need much assistance walking. It's really, you know, it really breaks your heart. I mean, it's hard. It's just really hard. There's a lot that's going on in the body because this is a defect throughout the body. So this lipid accumulation is occurring in all cells, but clearly, you know, the effect on the brain is something that is seen pretty early on. The brain controls your body, right? It is, in fact, the center. So, you know, if you start to have defective function there, eventually you're going to affect, you know, muscle control, you're going to affect coordination, balance, metabolism.
You can tell this mouse is NPC because she's smaller in size compared to the other mice, her siblings. And also she's a little bit shakier. You can kind of tell the difference between which one's the healthy one, which one's the NPC one. Because the NPC one, its movement is not as coordinated. It's a little jerky, it's a little bit slower. She doesn't run away. It's also a sign, you know, if you're sick, you don't really feel like moving.
The research into animal models is critical. There's no way we can get drugs approved or even close to being approved by the FDA unless we've already done that testing in animal models.
There is a good mouse model that can be used to screen drugs for efficacy, but also for toxicity prior to moving into patients. In NPC, and as well as other rare diseases, the patient population is very limited.
It's probably 1,500 people. If you wanted to do a clinical trial with 1,500 or 2,000, that would be, you know, every patient.
People say, why do you study rare diseases? And it's because you can find out what's going on in many, many other diseases in many individuals by studying rare diseases. What we have seen is first we isolated the gene that was responsible for Niemann-Pick Type C, and that led us to a cholesterol metabolism pathway in each and every one of us that is controlled by this NPC gene. So that has far-reaching implications to anybody that has an issue with cholesterol, whether it be stroke victims, arteriosclerosis. We've also made a direct connection with Alzheimer's. There's a buildup in the brain that is identical in both diseases.
So these mice are female, and they both have NPC. This one has the combination drug injected, and this one has been injected with just saline.
It's so great, you know, it's really so great to see the animals respond. You know, it's what you want the kids to be able to do.
I'm not. You put me in this stuff.
I know, I'm crazy.
Dad,
Want to wear the hat?
the muscles in the back of his neck and his back, and also his shoulders and arms and his fingers. I can't see your eyes anymore. Can you look at me? There you go. Eyes up.
I can't.
The door where you got the skater board, it's just right that way.
I can't.
Yes, you can. Take a breath for a minute. Rest. Rest. Okay. You're almost there. You can do it. You're almost there. You're almost there. 4, 5. Good job. Got it? Good job.
I worked with the Smith family for years. I worked with Braden before I started working with Riley. The Smith family as a whole, they are amazing people. They give back to the community. They're very involved with charity outside of themselves. With Riley, she doesn't quite think I'm as humorous as I used to be to you, huh?
No. No, Jamie used to work with my big brother
I did, didn't I?
a long time ago.
Very long time ago. And what happens is if you think something's silly or funny, what happens to your body?
I laugh.
And then what happens?
I fall.
Then you fall.
3, 4, 5.
Good. Get your balance first. Don't keep moving. You're falling as you're moving,
Yeah.
rather than trying to get your balance back before you move, right? We work on that a lot. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay.
Right.
Visual tracking is sometimes difficult, and sometimes she overshoots or undershoots things when she tries to put things in the slots. That's right, way forward and push, legs push. Come on, legs.
Wait. I yelled at him.
You're getting tired. Now turn all the way around. Okay, go ahead and sit down. Thank you, ma'am.
But Jamie has worked with me as long as I can ever remember.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We make a good team.
Yeah.
Kind of like
and
peas and carrots.
peas and carrots.
Peanut butter and jelly. What would you like better?
Peanut butter and jelly.
You've not heard that? You go together like...
I would love peanut butter and jelly.
Well, see, that's what I like. We're like...
I like peas and carrots.
Okay, I won't use that one again.
I will start with a brief introduction. This is your capstone class. On rare diseases, we focused on Niemann-Pick C. Many of you are pre-med and planning to go to medical school, and I very much hope that this class will let you consider training in rare and neglected diseases. I'm now going to turn the class over to Dr. Porter. The idea behind the class was to have Notre Dame students become experts in this one rare disease, Niemann-Pick C.
Pursuit is not where I have the kids look at my nose and then look at something on the side. So look at my nose and then the asterisk. That's a saccade, a fast movement. A pursuit is follow my finger. What I'm going to ask him to do is do pursuit movements, okay? Now he's following my finger back and forth, and he could do that. And then watch his eyebrows when I ask him to look up quick. And watch his eyes at the same time. Right there. You can sort of see him, he's trying to move up. Right there, you can see, he just can't do, he could follow my finger up, but when I asked him, look at my nose, look at my finger, he can't do that rapid. And there he's doing it down, but see how slow it was?
There's a lot of misdiagnosis because the early symptoms are misleading. You know, you can get an enlarged spleen, enlarged liver for other reasons, and there's no reason that your pediatrician is going to think that, you know, this rare disease is what your child has, right? For every gene, you have 2 copies, right? And for a recessive disorder, both copies have to be defective. And so that's how you get children with the disease when each of the parents have only 1 copy defective. Keaton and Riley, in fact, they were diagnosed with NPC once they knew that Brayton was positive, and that diagnosis took a long time.
When we initially took him to the doctor, they tested for Niemann-Pick Type A and Type B, but the physician at that time unfortunately didn't know that there was a Type C. So we didn't test for Type C, went on to have Riley and Keaton, and when we moved to Indianapolis and went to the Riley Children's Hospital, that's when we were informed that it was Niemann-Pick Type C.
So, you know, that's what it is, and then you read the prognosis, and it's bad. You know, there's no way to...
Yeah, no way to describe it.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is the kids can start out doing so well, and especially Riley. We, for a long time, when we would talk to people, we would say we have 2 children with NPC, and Riley slowly started to show those signs. So that was, you know, very hard, very hard.
Braden was a lot like Keaton. Braden was he was a boy. He loved to play sports, loved to watch sports. He loved music. We'd go to the football or basketball games. He'd love to listen to the band. He'd always want to see where the band was, the cheerleaders. He was very caring. When we brought Keaton home from the hospital, he'd get on the bus the next day and he'd look to Julie and he'd go, "Be careful with brother." So he was worried about Keaton, making sure that Julie could take care of him. When he stopped being able to talk and communicate, you wondered what he was, you know, how much he was sensing, how much he could, you know, did he really understand what was going on? And you'd see a funny part of a program and he'd laugh, or see something sad and he'd cry. And while you never wanted him to be sad, we knew he knew what was going on around, so he was still sensing his environment and the people around him, so that was comforting. While you knew the outcome of the disease potentially, it was very sudden, and that may not make sense, but one night he essentially went into cardiac arrest on the family room. I called 911, he came in, but it was, you think you're prepared, and you aren't. They'd actually gotten him back on life support that evening, and Julie and I had a conversation about, you know, taking him off life support. And when we were walking in the room to let the doctors know that, his heart stopped again. And it was almost like he knew he was ready, and he was waiting for us to get ready. And but it's, you know, think about him every day.
Well, it's really hard, of course. It's something that I don't think that my friends can understand, and teachers and other people in the community, because who else has 3 terminally ill siblings? And stuff like college and going away, it makes it all harder, because do I sacrifice like a better education to go far away from home? Or do I stay here where they'll be in my backyard and I'll always be able to visit them? But at the same time, I'm so glad that they're in my life, and I don't think that I would have accomplished half the things I would have without them, because they're so inspiring. You've seen they're amazing kids, and they have drive and motivation, and they persevere every single day and just encourage me to be a better person.
So tonight's a special night. This is the 3rd annual Notre Dame baseball game against the South Bend Silverhawks. The proceeds go to the Parseghian Foundation to help with Niemann-Pick research. Keaton gets to throw out the first pitch.
Keaton! Get out and throw!
ladies and gentlemen, at this time.